This time we turn our attention to Mango Airlines. Now, they've been grounded for the last 2 years, as you will remember. And now the Public Enterprises has been given 30 days to decide the fate of the local carrier. And Gareth actually alluded to this a little bit earlier on, that there's the green airline and there's the orange airline. But what is the fate of the orange airline going to be? It was placed under voluntary business rescue due to its dire financial situation in 2021. We've got aviation expert Guy Leitch joining us this morning to discuss this a little bit further. Guy, thank you for your time. There's been a lot of back and forth as far as Mango is concerned, a lot of litigation as far as Mango is concerned, even after it was placed on business rescue. Give us a little bit of an update as to why we are experiencing the challenges that we are at the moment and why it had to take a court order for the Minister of Public Enterprises to finally make a decision. Is he going to sell?
Well, thank you and good morning. It's nice to be with you. The Mango's always, in a sense, been the forgotten stepchild of SAA. It was a subsidiary of SAA. It was formed to create a low-cost carrier and a low-frills airline to compete against the Kalulas of this world and later the Sapphire and now Lift, which have been springing up to cater for that market. It did very well for the first 10 years or so of its existence. It pretty much traded profitably the whole time. And then it became a casualty of the whole SAA debacle. And even so, it's still it's been, in a sense, neglected by the business turnaround process for that saved SAA, which is a grave concern because the business rescue practitioners are insisting that the airline be sold. Quite what they plan on selling, I'm not sure, because there's next to nothing left. But what I'm seeing here is a really important bigger picture insight, and that is that I'm increasingly suspecting that the Department of Public Enterprises is working to two agendas or two narratives. It's really being quite duplicitous. On the one hand, it's saying, yeah, sure, we'll privatize SAA and we'll sell off Mango. But on the other hand, it's putting in an endless series of obstacles to that. With Mango now, this court order has effectively shown us that Minister Pravin Gordhan is being as difficult or as slow as possible, is procrastinating about selling off the airline. And that's cost 750 jobs. It's cost probably any chance of actually resuscitating the airline. And maybe he's trying to protect SAA in doing that, I don't know. But at the same time, to me, it confirms my suspicions that the whole Takatso deal is actually more about a smoke and mirrors. It's more about visual impact than actually a real deal that's going to happen. I know it was promised to have happened by by March of this year. In my mind, in my opinion, it's still got another 18 months and quite significant hurdles that have got to be overcome. So I'm seeing the same sort of procrastination going on from Minister Gordhan and the whole Department of Public Enterprises with SAA, as we've now seen proof of with Mango.
Now, Guy, SAA is liable for around 80 million rand or so should Mango fold, and this is because they put a guarantee on Mango. Do you believe that maybe this is a part of an effort to avoid that 80 million rand being put down?
I would like to think not. You know, the actual finances of SAA are extremely complex in terms of pre-commencement debt and all the other liabilities that have still got to be dealt with from the actual business rescue process. It's in the order of 2.6 billion rand. So 80 million rand is but a drop in the ocean. And SAA had a huge let-off, a narrow escape, when it escaped having to pay almost R1 billion to Airlink earlier 2 months ago in a court finding that it didn't have to pay the tickets, the value of those tickets that it had sold on behalf of Airlink across to Airlink. So this shouldn't be the obstacle. I suspect it's more ideologically driven. I think that the Department of Public Enterprises is under a lot of political pressure not to actually sell off state-owned assets. It sees these assets as being essentially developmental in terms of Mango and the airlines in particular are building skills and developing intra-African air connectivity. These are all really important, but at what cost? And I think that they are really being obstructionist at this stage.
Talking about who the prospective owners for Mango Airlines might be, Sipho Sono said he does have individuals who are interested, but the minister says he wants and needs more information. Just your comments and your thoughts about how the issues of identity and information have played out over the past while.
Well, it's a tricky one. In this case, Minister Gordon, in theory, has a point. You know, he could say, yes, we need to know more information. The fact of the matter is, it could reasonably be claimed to be confidential information or proprietary information, and therefore needs protection. Certainly, the judge has agreed with that particular viewpoint. But I have to say that I'm skeptical about the entire process. I think it's significant that the second applicant in this court case was NUMSA, the National Metalworkers Association Union. And I think their agenda is primarily to protect jobs. So I'm not sure that it's about a seller, or a buyer who's going to actually resuscitate the airline. Quite frankly, if I wanted to start a new low-cost carrier, I'd start a new one rather than take over Mango with all its legacy debt. Mango doesn't have any aircraft left anymore. They've all gone back to leaseholds. It really has very few staff left. It doesn't have any routes left. It doesn't have a license or an operator certificate. It, quite frankly, doesn't have anything but a problematic legacy. So I'm really struggling to believe that there's a serious offer on the table to resuscitate the airline and get it back in the air and flying. But you know what? It could be. We haven't seen that detail. As I said, Minister Gordon may have. The judge could have kept it, confidential in that regard. He seems to believe that there's a reasonable chance of presumably a buyer coming in and taking over the whole thing. So time will tell. We've got 30 days now in which to see if the real buyer does emerge.